scene in Oxford. Welcome. That's all I have to say. So it's been a year since I started the Oxford Meet, and I remember me and David were with two people. We were at a different place, and we were on Skype. And he said at the end of it, he just really wants to meet me because I'm a young lad with a weird accent. I remember that. He said, I don't really want to meet this young guy with a weird accent.
Who's this Harry Potter looking dude?
So it all started on the 26th of September. Oh yeah, I forgot. It's like the 18th. And this is the 10th BuzzTouch event in Oxford, which means we've had one pretty much every month. So I'll get stuck into the agenda, sure. So the agenda for today, that's basically it. Let's get started with all of this. So introductions first. I've got a set of questions because I don't want it to be particularly long. I'll start off by saying this. I'm Thomas Boyd. I'm Annandale Apps. You'll see me as Annandale Apps in the forum. I'm on regularly. BuzzTouch profile. Yeah, you'll see me on the forums. I'll reply to some of them. Been active with all of these Oxford meets and meeting lovely people. So apps that I have built include the Berlitz Oxford one, the Berlitz Edinburgh one, and the Woodstock one. The Woodstock one being my best, and you can see those are the ones on the leaflets. Favourite app on the App Store? I know it's a bit biased, but I think it's my Berlitz Oxford one.
That's very biased.
Because not my Woodstock one, because it was my first one. It was the one that set it all out for me. So top tip. I would say it's possible. It's possible with BuzzTouch. You can do anything you want pretty much with BuzzTouch. Somebody on Buzzcast, I think Mac Apple said, you can make Instagram on BuzzTouch with the photo filters and sharing through media. So you could make a really good app on that, and people have made really good apps.
I'm Stephen Tallett on the forums. I'm App1 Beta, and before I came to this, I did psychology, and I worked as a sort of psychology and research consultant to a couple of technology firms, and doing things like profiling apps, social search, and research platforms. On BuzzTouch, I found it really useful to do sort of content apps. So basically I've done things like my favourite TV shows, The Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, that sort of thing. And
that was you, yeah.
Yeah. And it's been a lot of fun, so looking forward to doing more and getting more advanced, and meeting you all today. Be fun. Okay.
I'm Stephen Stafford from Southampton, from Northern Ireland originally. I'm a journalist by trade, news journalist, as my sort of day job. And do a bit of web design on the side and sort of building for this. The main app I built is one of it's New Forest Walks, which is an area around Southampton National Park. So basically use the GPS thing to build the walks and build the app. So I'm again coming from a content rather than a coding point of view. Favourite app is probably one called Outside, which is that's another mapping app, but it's got board survey maps, which you can download for free and then use when you're up and about. It's absolutely fantastic, very useful. On top tip for app developers is probably use something like BuzzTouch, really, because it's just made such a difference to try and use something so easy and, not easy, but a lot more user-friendly than just diving straight into Xcode and everything else, which is a bit of so we jumped in first of all, Finder for a bit, and then find this, so it made life a lot easier.
Cool. My name's Laz Oakey, from London. Run a company called Capital New Media. We used to specialise in web development, but then we kind of moved on to mobile development, mainly sort of jQuery mobile, and then we kind of got into the whole app thing a couple of years ago, and we've sort of kind of taken off there. We don't really service clients. We've been working on our own in-house projects, mainly in sport and music. My background is, it's always been creative, but I've always been involved in the music industry for about 10, 12 years. Worked with various broadcast stations on Sky, met loads of artists, worked with loads of artists. And yeah, so you know, I came across BuzzDay a couple of years ago. I tried all the app platforms out there. In fact, I've signed up to all of them, to be honest. I can't remember all the passwords.
All pretend email addresses.
I've tried them all, you know, and to be fair, I have to say that BuzzDay is, in my opinion, is head and shoulders above all of them. Reason why I say that is not so much that you own the source code, but I don't know. It's it doesn't feel as restrictive as all the other platforms that are out there. You know, you've got to build your app a certain way with these features. At least with BuzzDay, there's an opportunity to build something different with the help of the community, which is another big thing as well. With all the other platforms I've tried, you don't really have that community aspect to it where you can, you know, just type a quick a message on the forum and bang, you've got an answer within an hour. And if you've got like red phone line tickets, which is what I tend to use a lot. Apps built. I mean, I built a few apps, but at the moment I'm working on what I consider quite an ambitious project, and I've managed to rope in Kitsy to come and help me. And it's a product for the music industry, and we're hoping that it's going to be a bit of a shake-up in the industry as well. I'm fortunate enough to know some influential people in the industry, so they're helping me out, and we're in the process of raising hopefully a large sum of money to get the project off the ground in the new year. Favourite apps? I'm addicted to football, so I do love my Championship Manager, and I'm pretty much on it nearly every day, every minute. Anytime I can, anytime I've got spare time, I'm always on that. Top tips, again, I have to just echo what everyone else has said so far, and that is, you know, use BuzzDay. It's definitely worth using. I'm not just saying that because the gang's here. I'm saying it because I truly do believe it's the best platform out there, and it will give you the best results, and you've got a community that will help you as well, so it's great.
Cool.
My name's Andy, I'm Kitsy on the forum. I'm a prison officer a drug worker in a prison by trade, but I'm a prison officer. BuzzTouch profile, I actually joined BuzzTouch about 3 years ago. All I wanted to do was to make a phone app that had a lad's holiday on it, to add some pictures, the videos, and at the time I think it was BuzzTouch 1.1 or whatever, I don't know what it was. I just couldn't get my head around it at that time. So I give it a miss, and then I started an Open University course, and we were looking at the prospects of using something called Scratch, MIT, I don't know if anyone's ever come across it, and it's just about putting blocks in place. So I thought, yeah, I'm up for this, so I joined back up to BuzzTouch, and then I started working on apps, realised that I didn't really have any ideas how to make apps, so literally nothing at all. So what I started doing was just looking at the forum and looking what people were whinging David to make, and thought, well, I'll have a go at making it myself, and that's what I've become, just a plug-in developer from that side. What apps have I built? I haven't built any myself, as I've just said, but I'd like to think there's quite a little bit of me splashed all over the app.
About everyone I do.
Actually, yeah.
Well, you know, not even just I know the carousels, but one of the most popular ones on there, but there's a lot of freelance stuff, like I've done stuff in Miguel and Braz. Top tip for Apple developers, or app developers, in the forum there's a lot of people who will post, especially the American guys, and when I'm not there, I tend to look at 4 o'clock in the morning lately these days, is if someone tells you it can't be done, just tell them they're a liar straight away. You know, if there's so much to be able to do, and also do a tutorial a day. Go to mobiletuts.com, go to Ray Vanderlick and just make something, and every time you do that, you'll learn a little bit of code that'll let you do something else in the future. That's my top tip.
I'm Susan from BuzzTouch, and Yeah, I worked 30 years in healthcare administration, so I'm like a Medicaid expert, and then I got U.S. has like a unique provider reimbursement system, so I'm kind of expert in some of those things. And then I got bored at that and started looking around and started studying programming a little bit, and then kind of found BuzzTouch and started making apps. And my first apps are 1.4 apps. And let's see, what apps have I built? I have several apps in the App Store because of BuzzTouch, really. And my favorite app is one I'm working on right now. It's called the Twin Cities Film Fest. It's already published on iOS. I'm going to republish on Android. But the reason I love it so much is because I learned a whole bunch of PHP MySQL from David, and now I'm able to hook my self-controlled panel into like a MySQL database and like dynamically generate content into apps. And my favorite app is my newest one because it's just so cool just to have all this data it's in a table, and it just populates the app when you hit the key. It's just so cool. And plus it gives me so much flexibility with the HTML, and I'm not the designer, but I really like things to look nice too. And my favorite app, I'm going to say, is Miguel's apps are in the App Store. That's one of my favorite apps because the reason I like him so much is because he's taken what we have available within BuzzTouch and done such a great job with artwork and with making them multilingual, and he's just really used the BuzzTouch technology better than anyone I've seen. He's really taken advantage of all the BuzzTouch things. And then he also made the tic-tac-toe. Or no, you made the tic-tac-toe.
Well, none of us made the tic-tac-toe. It got modified to work with BuzzTouch, I think.
Exactly.
Oh, okay, all right. So you made a BuzzTouch.
Although we had to tweak it quite a lot because it was a bit rubbish.
And the artwork is great.
These lazy
I
codes
wouldn't
don't
know.
do
I
it.
just send the code and go back to plugins. So
I have
quite
the
simple for me.
I have the code for Android too. I just have to-
Methods like that,
I
that should be that big.
So,
I've got a bunch of lines. So I'm David.
David what?
David Book.
Oh.
I'm not going to read that stuff up there because it'll probably come out when I talk to you a little bit later or whatever. But I started this a bunch of years ago and feel super, super blessed and fortunate to get to do things exactly like this. This is my most favorite part of this whole thing, is getting to meet people from crazy faraway places that have amazing ideas and backgrounds and interests, and I can't tell you how important that is to me. And so I think you probably understand that and believe that already based on kind of how BuzzTouch is put together and how our community kind of goes. But these relationships are far, far more valuable than code and programming and apps, and you've heard me say it, once, you've heard me say it 1,000 times. The colleagues and the friends that you make in any industry that you participate in are the most important asset, whether it be the music business or filmmaking or programming or PR or press or whatever it is that you do. So cling on to those colleagues and those important people that you meet, because they will come back and help you out. So that's me. Thanks for having me. It's a long ass trip. But I'll talk a little bit more about maybe my background and why this started, and we'll touch on a lot of things that a lot of you already know, but we'll just kind of repeat that when I talk. So do your thing.
Right, hi, my name's Rowan. BuzzTouch from Rowan Renard. Well, basically I've been doing design for 30 odd years. Everything. I started off in industrial design, then I went on to do graphics, then I got into computing, did a comic, taught design at university in France, and spent a decade doing websites before it was even know what websites were. So eventually I got really bored of websites. I could see the writing on the wall because everyone could do it, the technology is democratized, and that's got boring. I want to do stuff myself. So fortunately I came across BuzzTouch, which was back in 1.4 as well. And I spent 2 years sort of trying to pull my hair out. How do I do this? It was absolutely nightmare because C++ to design was not particularly easy. So BuzzTouch made it easier, which is fantastic. Let's see, I've made one app which actually got released about a month ago. So I'll be showing that later on, some of the customizations I've done in Light. Favourite app? Well, there's two actually. There's Udemy. I don't know if anyone's come across that. Yeah. Because I love learning. I think that's absolutely awesome. Udemy can give you all these online courses for free. And the other one I love is Pulse, because you can get all the news sources pulled into your iPhone, your iPad. So I thoroughly recommend you check those two out. Top tip, patience. Just keep plugging at it, because sometimes you get these insurmountable problems. They just absolutely seem to be like impossible. But if you just take a step back, then come back the following day and talk to people on the forum. I remember the transition from 1.5 to 2. I did a PDF on how to actually do that, and that took me literally about a month to just try and figure out all the little bugs and all the things that just didn't work. You know, the quiz, you rotate it and it'd crash out. Oh, it was an absolute nightmare. But persistence, you take each problem as it comes, one by one, eventually you'll solve them. So that's that.
Hi, I'm John. I'm pleased to be here. I've come down from Sutton Coldfield today, and I've got a West Midlands accent, which will be new to you.
You sound like everyone else.
Is that right? Normally people in Birmingham talk like this, but I've got a posh accent on. I've made a few apps, but I'm only capable of building the most basic app. My background is I used to work in banks and building societies and things like that. And then 5 or 6 years ago, my wife and I started a family. And my wife had a proper job in the NHS, and at the time the children came along, I was working self-employed in my own business. So because she had the proper job, it was decided between us that I should look after the children.
Fantastic.
So I am a stay-at-home dad, and she'd be out for hours on end, and our children are very close together. So I had a 6-month-old and a 22-month-old baby, and you know, these hands have changed them, and they've been covered in all sorts of things. You know. But I found that by getting too deep into it, that I've always gone out to work and earn money, and being a chap at home, you're really sort of on your own, and you're sort of you're not doing all the things that you used to do. And BuzzTouch for me, it gave me something to do when the kids were really asleep, and it meant that I've got some sort of way of sort of sitting up at home and making some sort of living in the future from it, which is what I'm hoping to do now, because the children are 5 and 6 years old, and I'm wondering, can I make this into some sort of business if I learn enough about it? The challenges ahead of me are that I can only do Android at the moment, and only very basic apps, so I need to know, how do I get from where I am to doing all this stuff that you know and what you guys know. I need to be able to make much better apps than I do at the moment, and how can I create them into a business? Do I try and look for people to make apps for, or do I do in-house projects like you do yourself? My favourite app on the App Store is going to be something really, really boring, but I actually love the BBC iPlayer app, because I like listening to radio programmes after they're being broadcast. The BBC have got a load of output which I really like to listen to, like politics and news and all that. So I often have the BBC iPlayer app when I'm doing the washing up or whatever. My top tip for app developers, I must be honest, you took the words out of my mouth. Patience, step away from it, come back. I've just upgraded my server to the latest version of the server, and it all went horribly wrong. But thankfully, people go in Australia to help me out, sorting it out. It took 2 or 3 days, but I got there in the end. I'm looking forward now to finding out how to do this stuff a lot better and becoming a much better app developer. I must say I'm very, very grateful to the forum out there. It's been a fantastic community, and I would say that's probably the biggest difference between this app developer platform and all the other ones. It's the forum is fantastic, and that's me.
Okay, I'm Miguel. I'm from Lisbon. I'm Mad Rod in the forums. I have no program knowledge, so BuzzTouch was like a lifesaver. I'm an IT technician for a living, and I take care of small Windows network servers and that kind of stuff. And it just got boring, you know? so I started to look for a way to make apps, and BuzzTouch just change everything. I mainly I've made some apps for some clients, but I mainly do them for me. I've got some children apps, I've got a sports app, and I've got some content app out there. And I wouldn't know what my favorite app would be, but on my iPhone, the App Store app is my favorite app, because that's where I go every day now. As for tips, I just go to the forum when you're in trouble, or if you're really, really in trouble, just email Kitty, you know. That's the way to do it.
Poor guy. I'm just becoming close to 1,700 emails I have, just off purely BuzzTouch PMs.
What?
And probably about 3,000 of us.
Hello, I'm Derval O'Neill, Derval O on the BuzzTouch forum. Originally from Dublin, Ireland, and now living in Milan in Italy about 10 years. Another accent for you, David.
A little bit.
I've been with BuzzTouch for about a year now, and I've developed 3 apps, very basic stuff, Apple and Android. I'm thoroughly grateful to BuzzTouch for giving me the opportunity to be able to do this. and also to the forum for helping me to overcome various problems and so on. Originally my background is in the corporate world, so treasury, contract management and so on. A little bit like Tommy, been able to work from home and hopefully to develop a business going forward. That's what I like to do. Favorite apps? I like everything that makes my life easier. So my banking app, don't understand all that.
Utilities.
All that kind of stuff. That's really useful. And all the news apps on the social networking. Tips going forward, I think what Kitsy said is right. To look for some way you can continuously learn, through a podcast or a tutorial, or pick some subject you don't know much about and start reading up about it and gradually chip away at it. So that's it. Have I covered everything?
I wish I hadn't gone on.
Well, we'll just start over, so you're first.
I'm John, and my profile is John from London. I'm new to this. I built some apps for schools because my background is education. I was a teacher, and then I was a manager in a school, and now I inspect. I go around inspecting places. Favourite app on the App Store? Strangely, I don't use apps. I know what they are, and I've made some, but I don't actually use them. Top tip for app developers. On YouTube, I once watched a very long lecture from Stanford University. I forget the professor's name. It went on for an hour and a half or something, and I understood the first minute, and then he lost me. But the first minute, what he said was,
Good morning.
no, he didn't even say that. If you want to make a successful app, what's the problem that the app is
Solving.
And I thought, well, that makes sense. And the rest of it didn't.
I ask yourself that question all the time, and I can never answer it.